When I'm out on a street photography walk, especially in a small city or town, I try to head to the busiest area as obviously there's more people there and then more opportunities for street shots. In this case, I headed into the centre of town and this busy intersection, and I was immediately attracted to the splash of light across the street. I just needed the right person to interact with the scene. It can be quite hard when you find a good scene to have patience and stay for a while, or whether to know that you should just pack it in and try your luck elsewhere. But in this instance, I decided to stick around for a while. I always try to keep looking around the scene though, and as I was waiting for someone to make that scene work, I noticed this lady now in frame to the left with her silvery hair, backlit by the sun, and I thought that would make a cool shot. So while I was waiting for someone else to fill the scene on the other side of the road, I thought I'd take an image here. I kept waiting as I was sure I could get a cool shot from that light, and I'm really glad I did, because this woman walked past to complete the scene and made for a really nice image. I'm always looking for bold graphic shapes and bright colours when I'm out on the street, as I find they make for interesting elements to include in a photo. Down this street I noticed these temporary Valentine's Day balloons that are outside the shop, and I'll talk a bit more about making the most of temporary scenes a bit later on in the video. But in this case I worked the scene for a while using the bright red balloons in my framing and came away with a couple of really cool shots that I like a lot. I always keep my eyes open for a potential reflection photograph. I think reflections are a great way to add depth and layering and texture to a photo. In fact, I did a video about using reflections in street photography, which I'll put a link in the description for. But in this case, I can see the scene coming together a bit. There's a gentleman with a red hat and a red no entry sign, which I think when they come together will make a cool shot. So I'm just anticipating this man's movement across the street and then snap the shutter. One of the things I really love about street photography is that it really keeps you looking and observing all the time. Even as I'm coming up here just to wait to cross the road, I notice this gentleman standing on the side of the pavement, the shapes and textures from the scaffolding, and I'm thinking about how I can put an image together. It's often mentioned in street photography about being a hunter or a fisher. A fisher where you find a scene and you wait there for a while for something to happen, and a hunter where you react to what's going on in front of you. I like to do both, and in this case I could see something happen really quickly with this man reflected in the hoarding on the left there, and it made for quite a nice shot. Again, in this case I noticed some more graphical elements in bold colour on the right hand side in this bus shelter, as well as this beautiful winter light coming straight towards me and a bit of abstraction from the sort of dirty window. So I'm sure that there's a photograph to be had here, and this is where I turn into, I guess, more of a Fisher style approach, where I wait in the scene for a while, watch people come and go, see how they interact, and then make a few images from that scene. If you're enjoying this video and you like the voiceover, then let me know in the comments, and please go ahead and give it a like as well. All of that stuff helps the video to spread to more people to enjoy, and it's greatly appreciated. If you've been following this channel, you'll know that I love using subframing in my street photography. So I'm always on the lookout for interesting shapes, textures, elements that I can use to frame subjects inside of in my photos. So I go up these stairs and I noticed the railing here with some really cool shapes, and I know that if I can get someone to walk past, framed up inside those shapes, it can make for some really cool shots. So now it's just a case of waiting for the right person to walk past and getting the timing right to make for an interesting photo. I noticed this umbrella, which I think will make for a really nice graphic element, or I can use it to block out some of the photograph to make for some more extreme framing. And again, if I can get someone to walk past across the street, well, not get them, I'm not going to force anyone to walk past, but I see this lady walk past and I want to spontaneously capture the photograph. So I decided to use this umbrella as a compositional tool to get some nice subframing in there. I mentioned earlier on in the video about using temporary scenes to your advantage when you're out on the street. So especially if you live in a sort of medium, small sized town that I do, there's not a huge amount of stuff going on generally, and you see the same things every day. So it really pays to keep your eyes open for things that aren't going to be there very long. Temporary scenes, for example, in this case, this temporary traffic light here. Again, it's a nice graphical element. I like the bold light, and I notice this wonderful lighting across the street as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for temporary scenes. They're not going to be there forever. You can take photographs in a temporary situation and no one can really copy you because that scene might not be around for very long. But in this particular scene, again, it's just a case of waiting for the right elements to line up. As always, I'm keeping my eyes open, looking at scenes that I might want to spend some time in, and also kind of assessing as I go whether that's worth it or whether I think there might be better opportunities a bit further on. So here I noticed this cool looking dude coming towards me, got interesting clothes on, interesting hair, and I think, right, if I just let him pass and swing round, I might be able to get a cool shot. So it's not on the GoPro, but you'll be able to see the shot in just a second. I really like this scene coming up now. This old corner shop that's been closed down makes, again, for a temporary scene, it's not going to be there forever, and the textures and light in the window are great. So again, I spent a lot of time here. I didn't actually capture the people that walked past on the GoPro, but you can see the shots I came away with just now. Those two shots are definitely two of my favourites of the day. I love the texture, I love the subjects in them. And again though, I'm working the scene here, I am not just focusing on one thing, I'm constantly looking around me, noticing the light across the road to see where other opportunities I might be able to get a nice street photograph from. And also something I find really important in street photography is working the scene. You know, once you've got a great shot from a place, don't necessarily want to move on. You might want to spend a bit more time there, really squeezing the most out of the scene that you can. So working the scene, in my opinion, is really important. Change your perspective, go up, go down, change your focal length, just spend a bit of time to see how people interact with the scene, because you might then come away with shots that you would have missed otherwise. So on my way back home, the light was just magnificent, and I found myself again back in that intersection where I kind of started the street photography walk a bit earlier in the day. And again, I spent a bit of time here, watched people interact with the scene and walk through on their way home from work and so on, and came away with a couple of nice shots to end the street photography walk. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video and the others on my channel, please go ahead and consider subscribing for more videos like this in the future. Check this video out where I also get incredible light on the southeast coast of England on a street photography walk.